The following presentation contains adult dialogue not suitable for all audiences. Brought to you by Media Listen. Viewer discretion is advised.
Media Listen.
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 Media Listen. You are now listening to Media Listen.
Oh, you heard it already. Major Listen. Back at it again with another episode. I hope I'm wrong, but I think I hear one of the kids behind me. Okay. False alarm. But yeah, everybody, welcome to a whole new episode of Major Listen. I'm your host. Like always, man, I keep feeling like a bunch of kids stomping. That's my wife, man. She needs to stop. But yeah, man, welcome to a whole new episode. My guest is running a little behind. So it's just gonna be me for now. So I hope you guys don't mind. Yeah, guys, welcome to a whole. It is June 4th. Can you guys believe that, man? We're like halfway through the year already. Before you know it, it's gonna be Christmas. Man, the holidays are just gonna come so quick. It's gonna be insane. But yeah, I had a new little setup going on. You know, I can only do so much because of everything that's going on right now. You know, I'm gonna be relocating the studio here soon, so yeah, man, I have to do what I gotta do. Have to work with what I can. Luckily, there's only one more episode of Major Listen, and that's gonna be next Tuesday. Hope you guys can make it to that one because it's gonna be a fun one. I'm gonna go ahead and pause for a little bit, mostly because I have no viewers right now, and it's exactly what I feared. Talking to myself. So you guys bear with me, just so I can have enough time to share the live on the Facebook page. There it is. Give me 1 second. I already have one share, 4 plays, but nobody watching. But I hope those viewers come up, man. It was hot. It was another hot day today. It was, I think it was like 90. It went up to 96, I think. Man, I went to Killeen today. I went to San Antonio today and came back to Houston. I don't know if it was hotter over there. But yeah, man, the Texas humidity is what kills me over here, man. That's where the killing is at. All the humidity, the Texas humidity, man. That's what makes it feel like an oven outside. But yeah, man. See, this is the thing. I need to have more practice about talking, you know, by myself, because you never know, man. Who knows? Later on in the future, I may just do this by myself, and I could have a public audience. I could just say like, "Hey, I did it all by myself." Man, so the lighting right now kind of tell your boy getting old, man. Look at this. Got a gray chin hair right there. I chose a really bad spot to have my lighting at, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, man, the setup, no conversation just yet. But yeah, we're gonna have a good one. We're gonna be talking to a firefighter. I don't necessarily know his rank yet, so I really want him to join so I can ask him all that. He's a busy man. Like I talked to him earlier, I think this week or last week. You know, there is a possibility that he could have a call during the whole live. So I'm prepared for that in case he does have to leave, you know, all of a sudden, because, you know, firefighting, man, like those are they're constantly working, so emergencies happen, day or night. They don't have a time frame, but they happen. But like I told him, man, I understand if you gotta leave, I'll make it work by itself somehow, just like I am right now with no viewers and 5 minutes in. But yeah, man, what's everybody been up to? Looking at you, the viewers. No viewers right now. But yeah, man, I should have probably promoted or advertised this episode a little bit better than what I did. I was just like, I've been so busy, man. It's gonna be a busy month, and it's been a busy few weeks already. It's just gonna get worse from here. But yeah, man, what's everybody been up to? Everybody in the comments. Nobody's watching me right now. I want to know, like, what's everybody been up to? Sorry if I keep looking back. I keep thinking that somebody's behind me. I keep feeling footsteps. I love water, guys. So you see me chugging it like if I've been running a marathon. Fear not. That's just me chugging water like I do on a daily basis. As you can tell, some of the drip on me right now. It's all good though. I have no viewerships right now. That sucks. But yeah, man, we're here. Stuff like this happens all the time. How did you guys like yesterday's episode though? I had my wife on here with the Yeti. I'm gonna call her Yeti for short because Geraldine just sounds too long, and I keep biting my freaking tongue. And I hope that's not gonna be like the case this whole episode, because this freaking hurts. I keep talking, I keep biting my tongue. I don't know why. Supposedly, I heard that if you keep biting your tongue, it's because you need to get your wisdom teeth removed or something like that. That's just what I heard. It's not facts. Finally got a comment. Hey, get your own flag. For those of you wondering why I have an Ecuadorian flag in the background, I am so sorry. I can't find my flag anywhere. Supposedly I put it in storage because like we're moving stuff around over here. So I put away all my flags except for this one because I think Belen wanted this one for whatever reason. She said she was going to take it to the Fade concert, but that didn't happen. So she left that behind. So I have it as my background right now. Representing. I actually went to visit Ecuador. When was it? 2015, I think. It was, yeah. It was actually pretty fun, man. I liked it. I actually wanted to stay. Of course, I don't know why I wanted to stay. I guess I just felt like, hey, new beginning, screw it, like let's just make it happen. But my wife said it was only good for visiting. 2 weeks. I went for 2 weeks. Longest 2 weeks of my life, honestly. Like I felt like 1 week would have done it. But hey man, we learned. What the heck is this? Rubber band? I don't know what the heck this is. You could. So funny story about that. She said 2015 you couldn't breathe. So funny thing about that, I was having like a on-site panic attack because when we got to her brother's house, we were in high altitude. And I felt so out of breath, I guess, and like because we were so high up, and I was just like I was just feeling like out of breath, like I couldn't breathe. Oh God. So I was telling her like I don't mean to freak out, but I can't breathe. I feel like I can't breathe. Blah blah blah. She's all like, oh, it's okay. I think it's because of the altitude. And sure enough, she told her brother, my brother-in-law, like, hey, Ricky's talking about he's having a hard time breathing. So like, oh yeah, because of the high altitude. I was like, oh okay. Eventually it went away. So funny story, I guess. Haha, nobody laughed, right? No viewerships right now. That's freaking insane. Yo, this is gonna be my least viewed episode. So the new Venom trailer came out. I wanted to see what you guys thought about that. I watched the new Venom trailer for that new Venom movie. Not gonna lie, I didn't like it. I didn't like the trailer, honestly. I think the only cool thing about the whole trailer itself, I told you he's running behind it, but I guess you didn't hear that part. But yeah, I watched the new Venom trailer. The only cool thing about it was, you know, the Venom horse, I guess, in the preview. That one was pretty fun. But other than that, I really didn't get it. I don't know if it's gonna be like a surprise, like within the movie, I guess. But I didn't really see like any type of connection between that the ending of Spider-Man Far From Home, or what was the last Spider-Man movie? Yeah, I didn't see any connection towards like the post credits or whatever. So that was pretty much a bummer right there. But I wanted to see what was gonna happen, but it didn't explain anything. So I'm hoping that as the movie comes out, there will be, you know, more previews and whatnot, and we could probably see a little bit more into it as to you know, what that movie is really about. Because I'm not gonna lie, I confused the crap out of me. I think the new villain is gonna be, crap, I forgot his name. There's gonna be a new villain. Man, I have no viewership, or one viewership again. No viewership. I'm about to cancel this whole episode. And I shared this live, right? Well, it's a good thing, you know, I'm taking a break here in a little bit. You know, you tend to you sound like Josiel. Stop. For those who don't know who Josiel is, that's her twin. But yeah, man, new Venom trailer, didn't quite get it, didn't quite understand it, but maybe hopefully there's more to it as we get closer to the movie date. But yeah, like I mentioned, it was hot as hell today. What else we got going on in the world? What does it say? Facebook. Can we still watch the movie? I'm still gonna watch the movie because I want to know. I'm pretty sure they're gonna explain more, you know, the post-credit scenes, whole thing that happened, whatever. I just saw 2 viewers, so let's hope that, you know, I have more viewership. But yeah, the Venom movie, or the Venom preview, the trailer, whatever, you know, I expected too much out of it, but I'll watch it, no doubt. The shooting that happened in Houston. Okay, I have no idea what shooting you're talking about. Stop looking at the viewers, damn it. I can look at whatever I want, woman. Look, I got 2 viewers right now. That's good. But yeah, I don't know what shooting you're talking about. So what are you talking about? What shooting? I don't know what shooting you're talking about. There's always shootings in Houston. I can't even keep up anymore. There's always something going on here, which is why, good Lord, I can't wait till the day comes where I say, where I can finally say I no longer live in Houston or in a dangerous freaking area. Because good Lord, something's always happening here. There was some guy dressed as a clown. No, I didn't know anything about that. But let me go ahead and see if I can pop up the story. Bet you anything, if I type Houston shooting in Google, a whole bunch of like pages are gonna just pop up. Because Houston's just full of just shootings. Babe, your laptop sucks. Keep saying that I need to sign in. I can't even Google search anything. Yep, there we go. Well, I can't. Yeah, I can't look it up. Sorry, and I don't want to use my phone because I don't want to mess up the connection that I have for the hotspot. That's the only way I'm getting connection right now. Good God, yeah. There's been a lot of shootings in Houston, so don't necessarily know which one you're talking about. So I mean, crimes are everywhere, but Houston is just bad right now, especially this area that I'm at. There's always something going on. And oh, give me a second. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, Mr. Fonseca?
Hey, thank you. I'm sorry about that. We're just coming back from a gas leak, and I apologize for being late.
No. You're good. I was just talking to the viewers right now before you came. You made your presence known. So it's an honor to have you, sir. Can you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do, what your rank is, and all that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually on duty today. I'm in the vehicle now. So I'm gonna do this from my car.
Heck yeah, we get to see the front row action.
Yeah, if we catch a fire, I'm gonna bring you with me. So
that's a bet.
Yeah, so I've been working. I've been a professional fireman for 27 years. With the city of Houston for 24 years, and I went from the rank of cadet, probationary firefighter to firefighter, engineer operator, junior captain, and I'm currently a senior captain assigned to Station 4, safety officer.
Oh, okay. Do you do a lot of training with the new recruits, or I don't know what they're called? You gotta correct me on that. Cadets.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so I spent 7 years of my career training future firemen, Houston firemen. So I spent 7 years training thousands of members in the Houston Fire Department.
Oh, nice. So you're a real one for joining while on the job. Thanks for everything you do.
Oh, no, the privilege is all mine. I promise. Thank you. It's my honor and privilege.
No, I truly believe that firefighting is probably one of the most toughest jobs anybody can have, because I feel like you're really putting your life in danger on a daily basis. So if anything, thank you for what you do. I understand very well that, not necessarily 100%, but I truly understand why, it is the toughest job that you can have, honestly.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that I think firefighting is a noble profession.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that, and this is what I truly believe, is that you don't really choose to be a firefighter. It's more like it's chosen for you by our Creator. I'm very religious man, and I believe that it's a calling to serve others, and that's why I believe it's a noble profession for sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and get with one of the questions that I had for you. What is the most rewarding thing that you've gone through as a firefighter?
In my career, I've witnessed a lot of triumph and a lot of tragedy in my career. We've had successes and we've had failures, and I think the most rewarding is when you go on scene and on a medical call, for instance, and someone is dead, and their family members is distraught, obviously, and we go there and we make a difference, right? We bring that person from death back to life, in a way, resurrect them, in a sense, right? And it's so rewarding because the family members, you see they go from one emotion to the other. And it's such a rewarding to feel that and to see that. Yeah, just saving someone's life. You just can't put a price, and you can't really describe it. You just have to experience it, and it definitely moves you. And so the times that you're not successful, it definitely affects you also in your career. So yeah,
absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear that you get to experience that. I guess that sort of feeling. The rewarding feeling that you get from saving a life. I think that's pretty cool. But back to the beginning, whenever you say you train your new cadets, do you remember exactly how it was whenever you first started off?
Oh yeah. So it was absolutely terrifying for me personally. I've gotten married. I got married early, and we
Mhm.
started a family early. And so you're in when you're training, there's always a threat of being fired, right? Of
Yeah.
failure, of not making the requirements, the standards, and so you're always, every day you go to work as a cadet. When I got in, I started back in 1997 in the fire service, and it was you had to really perform. Mentally you had to be prepared, physically you had to be prepared.
Oh yeah.
You just had absolutely had to want it, right? Because they put you through a lot of tests to try to weed you out, right? To make sure that you're worthy to serve, because
Absolutely.
yeah, we don't want just anyone. I always say that this is not I'm gonna try profession, right? I'm gonna try to save someone's life. I'm gonna try to get that baby out of that burning building. In this profession, it is we will do profession.
Yes.
I will go in there and we will get your family. You're out. That's the attitude that we have here in the Houston Fire Department. And so that's kind of what during the cadet phase they try to drill that into you, like hey, we don't want you to try, we want you to do. And
Yeah, absolutely.
they try to weed us out. So it was amazing. We used to go through this thing they called ladder appreciation days. And
Uh-huh.
so in the fire department, we have several ladders, right? Different sizes and different weights, from a 10-footer to a 50-footer Bangor ladder. And so we would have all the ladders set up, and for the entire 8-hour day, we'll have some breaks and lunch. We carried ladders all day long and walked around the track at the academy. And it was in order for you to feel that pain and the desire to quit, but your desire to succeed to become a Houston fireman had to be greater than your desire to quit. And so they would what we called ladder appreciation days, and we lost a lot of members that way. But the ones that
Really?
stayed, yeah, the hell yeah, guys quit. They just couldn't do it. You drop the ladder. If you drop the ladder, if you put the ladder down, you go and you ring a bell and you're gone. You're done. That's it. You're gone. And that's the way it used to be. It was crazy. And so literally you're holding on for dear life, like and then you finally make it. And after those 8 hours, those 40 or 50 cadets that you're in the cadet class with, you guys are just like memories that you never forget.
Oh, absolutely. You think back at those memories like, man, those were really cool times, huh?
Absolutely.
That's
I had towards the end of the day, this ladder was slipping off my shoulder, and I'm
uh-huh.
like, I'm about to drop this. I'm about to drop this. And as it was sliding down my shoulder, it got caught up on my belt, on the side of my pants, the belt,
Yeah.
and it actually got caught up on my belt, and my belt was holding it up. and that belt I still own to this day because that saved my career.
Right?
At least in the Houston Fire Department. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Story. Yeah. So I was.
You look back at it like, man, if it wasn't for this belt.
I don't fit in it anymore. But it's definitely. I was destined to be a Houston fireman because if it wasn't for that belt, I would have dropped the ladder. There's no doubt.
Hey, that's gonna be your good luck belt. Definitely. I think with your type of job, you can't just try. You guys have no choice but to make it happen.
That's right.
And that's exactly what you said, man. Like I feel like if your mind's not where it needs to be, there's room for a lot of mistakes too.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right. So what inspired you to become a Houston firefighter and a firefighter all in general?
Yeah, that's a funny story. I'm gonna be honest with you. Just like every boy that I think, when you're little, everybody at some point want to be a fireman or a police officer, right? You see the fire truck going down the road, and you just like automatically mesmerized, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, for sure, that was part of it. But the other part was when I was in high school, a freshman in high school, I used to walk through Fire Station 18, which is on the east side of east end side of the city of Houston.
Okay.
And I walked to the high school for 2 days football practice.
Yeah.
And I remember walking to the fire station to get some water, and I would see the guys, all the members of that Station 18. They were either working out, they were training, they were playing basketball, they were just huddled together as a group. And I remember them catching the fire call, and they dropped everything, ran to the fire truck, got dressed, got on the apparatus, and just took off, right? And I was into sports as a young man, and I said, wow, that is camaraderie that I feel when I'm on the football team. And I've always, and that was probably the biggest moment, was when seeing those guys, how they interacted and how they took off on an emergency call and dropped everything and just headed down, and you see smoke in the horizon, and I'm like, wow, this is what I want to do. I definitely want to be a part of that. Yeah, part of that. And guess what? I worked hard at the academy. Came out number 2 in the academy, and I was able to select Station 18 out of off the drill tower as probationary firefighter. I got to work in the same fire station that I used to walk through and drink water from the water fountain as a young kid.
Hey, that's pretty cool. Yeah. That's pretty cool, because you get to see exactly where it all started. Like, yeah, this is exactly where I got that feeling. So yeah, I belong here.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was definitely a dream come true.
Hey, heck yeah. What does a typical day look like in your world?
Well, a little different for me now because I moved up the ranks. So a typical day for a firefighter, for my rank, or for me personally?
For a firefighter in your station. At your station, I guess.
So typical day. So the firefighter rank is the heart and soul of the Houston fire of any fire department. Those guys are the ones that do all the work, right? Those guys are the ones that are in the trenches getting it done. Excuse me for 1 second.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
He said he was gonna wait on his dig crew, so we can't.
Oh, dig crew. Yeah.
Oh, you're
yeah,
right.
yeah. Now go ahead.
He said he was gonna wait on his dig crew.
Okay.
So we came to gear down, and then I didn't see him come out of the backyard, so I walked back there. He had already finished digging up. He clamped it.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good then.
So he clamped it.
Thank you, brother. All right, so you go back in service.
He said he was gonna wait for his dig crew.
I guess he figured he could get.
We went to gear down, and then I said, "Well, I told him, I said, just stay out of the backyard until your crew gets here." And then he never came out, so I went back there. He already dug it up.
All right, well, it's done then.
It's done now.
All right, brother. Thank you. All right, take care. Okay, I apologize. Okay, so basically, we come into work and 6:30, 06:30 is shift change, but most members get there about 5:45 to 6 o'clock in the morning. That's just a tradition. That's just a tradition of the job, right? They get there early. They relieve their guys. They take their equipment off of who was there. They put their equipment on, and they do operational readiness. So they'll check everything in the fire truck, every equipment, to make sure that it's there and that it's operational. Because the time to find out that it doesn't work is not when we get called, right? Because the citizens expect that when we get called, because they provide the equipment for us, right? Tax their dollars. And so we got to make sure that we respect and good stewards of the tax dollar. We take our equipment, and when the time comes to use it, we know that it's ready. So they'll do all that. They'll get they'll start cleaning up the station. We do all the cleanup. We do all the mopping in the morning, taking out the trash, sweeping. We'll check. We'll have roll call. So every morning we get everybody together, and we'll basically find out. We've been gone for 5 days, and just find out how everyone's doing. How's everyone's family? Did anybody get in trouble? Is there any issue we should know about? Anything we can do to help anybody out? Everything's good, okay? And we just talk about what's going to be going on for the rest of the day, and then we go back to finishing up cleaning the station. Some of the guys starts cooking, and then we eat breakfast, and we just start talking shop. That's the greatest thing about it. We start talking about things that we did on the days off, emergencies that we made, and so and of course we're in Houston. We have about 640 square miles we cover. Wow. And you can put the city of New York, the city of Miami, the city of Washington. You can put several cities in the city of Houston, and we cover that big distance. So we're constantly running. We're constantly. I mean, we run about 1,100 runs a day, 1,100 emergencies a day, and so man, and we make so many fires, so many shootings, stabbings, sick calls, car wrecks, gas leaks. I mean, suicide. I mean, you name it, we do it all. There's not one thing we do not do. We go from making sure somebody dropped their charger and they call us to pick up their charger because they can't get out of bed, to ingrown toenails, to
What?
scary dreams, to
What?
oh yeah, yeah. We get there like, what's your emergency? I had a bad dream. I mean, and what do?
Yeah, I do want to know, how do you handle situations like that? Whatever. I mean, I'm pretty sure you have to be professional about it too, right?
Absolutely.
You can't just be like, "Hey, man, go back to sleep."
Right. So we may say that, we may say go back to sleep, but definitely we want to be professional. And
Absolutely.
I truly believe that this is what I tell my guys, right? Is that our job is not to judge. Our job is not to judge if this is worthy of us being here, because it doesn't matter. You got dispatched. It's time for you to go and take care of your business. So treat everybody with respect and compassion. And it's only 24 hours. They can't hurt you. It's 24 hours. Do a good job, and know that ultimately what you're doing is God's work. And so I do not tolerate having patients being treated badly because they're calling for foolish reasons. You know what? Yes, I understand that, but it's not our job. Our job is to serve. Let the administrators handle that part.
That's true. That's true. And speaking of which, I did want to ask you, just like every other job, there's always like a busy season or whatever the case is. I do want to know, what is the busiest like a time of year that you guys have, or what is the busiest holiday?
Okay,
because just people can't act.
Well, I would say for sure Thanksgiving. We have a lot of people frying turkeys.
Oh, God, really? That's the thing?
Yeah, and so they cause a lot of fires. There's a lot of fires during holidays. A lot of suicides on holidays because people lost loved ones and things like that. Lost
loved ones, yeah.
Yeah, and then during the winter months, we make a lot of carbon monoxide poisoning. We make, because the reality is there's a lot of we have a lot of poor Americans. We have a lot of poor people that live in our cities, right? And I understand, because I grew up that way. I grew up the same way that many of the people live today. And I remember that we used to heat our house the same way. We used to put our burners on and and open up the oven and do whatever we had to do to stay warm. And so what people do, believe it or not, they'll bring a barbecue pit. They'll put charcoal in the barbecue pit, or they'll put wood in the barbecue pit and put it in the living room. And bless their hearts, man, they try to warm their family up, and what they've done, they've killed their family. And so they'll do that. They'll put space heaters next to drapes, and that'll catch it on fire. They'll have a generator running and in the garage, and so whatever you think no one could possibly think to do that, they're doing it, and we're seeing it. And we're responding to them, and it's so winter time is definitely a big uptick on fires.
Dang. Man, I could see that happening. And like my wife was just mentioning that we had to call 911 one time because our fire alarms were going off saying that there was carbon monoxide that was detected, and come to find out it was just for those who don't know, you have to change your batteries at least once a year. I found that out that same day. So you have to change out your batteries, because if not, it's gonna get like faulty, gets faulty. Yeah. So I learned that very same day. They told me like, yeah, you need to change your batteries. They're pretty worn out. I was like, oh crap.
The easiest way to remember it is that if you change them during time change, right? Like when you spring forward or you fall backwards, time changing, that'd be the best time to change your batteries. So when you change your clock, move it forward or move it backwards, just remember to change your batteries on your smoke detector and your carbon monoxide. Yeah,
I'm gonna start doing that then, because I know I have to change it this year. I just don't know what month it is. What is what is the most challenging part of your job?
I guess as a safety officer, my job as a safety officer is all I do as a safety officer is the only call that I respond to are house fires and got gas leaks, or things that are things that are very dangerous to Houston firefighters, right?
Yeah.
So my job is to make sure that, Houston firefighters are the most aggressive interior firefighting crews in the nation, I believe, right? I mean, our motto is bring them out alive, right? And so every building in the city of Houston that's on fire, we consider occupied until we determine that it's not. So we're going to risk a lot to save a lot. My job is to try to tame back those guys, like hold them back a little bit if the building looks like it's going to collapse.
Yeah.
If the fire looks like it's going to combust, which we call, a flashover. So it's real challenging to try to hold back these warriors, right? These men and women who are
eager to just save lives.
Absolutely, man. That is the hardest job, is to hold them back. They get angry, they get upset, because absolutely it is a calling. These men and women are special, right? They're special.
Yeah.
Because, people can never understand why people do, people become police officers or people become firefighters, right? Because when everyone's running out of buildings, right, that are on fire, or any situation, we're running in. And even though everything in your body is telling you, hey, you should not be coming in there, for us, when the alarm goes off, it's like they become our family, right? Because they're like, how do you risk your life for a complete stranger, right? And the Bible states that there's no better love than to lay down your life for a friend. And when the booper goes off, when the alarm goes off, those strangers become our family, and we'll walk through fire for our family. That you would walk through fire to save your family. So for us, we get the mindset that the booper goes off, hey, we're gonna make the save. We're gonna go get that baby, because that's part of our family. And for that moment in time, we risk everything for our family, and that's what we do when we get the calls. And so it's hard to describe why we do the way we do. It's just something that you either have it or you don't. You either have a serving heart or you don't. So
absolutely. Now, we talked about the most rewarding part of your job, but unfortunately, you guys do handle a lot of trauma, I believe, because there's a lot of unfortunate events that do occur, unfortunate accidents that occur. How do you handle situations like that? Like, how do you navigate it through your mind? Like, man, like I can't put like all that trauma. It can't be good for you. But how do you deal with it?
Well, initially when I was a young firefighter, it affected me more than it does now, and I'll tell you why. So one of my first calls as a firefighter was we made a medical emergency. We get to the apartment complex, and as we're walking into the house address, a father comes out with a lifeless baby that is not breathing, and hands it to me, right? And I have this baby in my hand, is lifeless, right? And I'm like, what in the world? And the parents are crying, and I'm like, what in the world? So I start CPR on it, on the baby, and I pass them over to the paramedics, and the mother is crying, the father is crying, and I'm like, wow, I'm a young man, and I'm 22 years old, and I'm thinking, what just happened here? And all I could do for them, and all I could do was pray with them. And I told you I was very religious, and I believe that I lean on my faith and on my religion quite a bit. And so early on, it affected me. But as you get older and you get in this profession, you realize that life is not fair, right? Life is not fair, and that death is part of life.
Yes.
No one leaves this world alive, right? And so we know that there's going to be tragedy, and you just have to understand that dying is part of life, and you just do the best that you can, and then you put it somewhere, a silo in your brain. You put it somewhere, and you just move forward. And in my era, we didn't talk about these things. It was weakness to show. It's a sign of weakness to show any type of emotion, right? And so for me, I put those things in the silos and I lock them up. And the ones that are still that still affect me are the ones involving young people. I'll tell you another story. I made a when I was driving an ambulance, I made a drive-by shooting. A couple young men were victims of a drive-by, and
Yeah.
the patient that I had, we had several of them. So the young man, probably about 16 years old, and he was like, I don't want to die, and he's shot in the chest and he's shot in the stomach. And I'm saying, young man, you're not gonna die today. You're not gonna die today. We got you. We got you. So I'm patching him up. I'm putting inclusive dressing on him, and we got to go. I said, hey, let's load him. We got to go. This guy's circling the drain. He's about to go. And so we're taking off. We're taking off, and I'm in the back with him, and he's telling me, I'm so sorry, man. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. And unfortunately, he died. And it kind of affected me because I was sure he wasn't gonna die, right? Because I'm like, no, you're not gonna die. No one dies on my back of my ambulances. Nobody.
Yeah.
You say that because truly you believe
it.
Right. And honestly, you want to give people hope. When people do not have any hope, it's when they lose all efforts to try to fight. And but unfortunately he passed away, and that sticks with me because he was such a young man. He was a young man that probably made a couple bad decisions and realized that moment that, hey, I don't want any part of this life. But for him it was too late,
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's very unfortunate. And yeah, I could see why that would affect you, especially because I don't know, I've never had to experience anything like that where I see somebody with life and all of a sudden they're gone. It's kind of, I'm pretty sure it's really hard on you. But you were mentioning before the episode, whenever the episode just started, that you're very religious. When did the religion just come about? Was it something that you've always had even prior to the whole firefighter?
Yeah, when as a young kid, I was probably in maybe, I don't know, maybe ninth grade, ninth grade probably. I remember since we didn't have a vehicle, right? And so church was pretty far away. So I would remember during the week, I would walk to church and walk back, in the rain or when it was hot, just because I wanted to go and I wanted to be part of that and I wanted to feel that. So I guess it was pretty much early on. And then as I became an adult and married my wife is a stout traditional Catholic, and so I have now are going down that path of being a traditional, so I am Catholic, and so I've really embraced and learned a lot about my faith and my religion, and so it's helped me navigate, try to be a good role model for the men at the fire station, right?
Yeah.
As far as morals, right? As far as making sure that we always do the right thing, even when everything that we're looking at is upside down and backwards. So yeah, I guess it started when I was a young man, early teens.
Oh, okay. I guess I was just wondering that you decided to just accept religion into you because of everything that was occurring in your life with the whole firefighting, and you realized you were going through all these losses, and you just never know when your time was going to come. But glad to know that wasn't the case.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. No, but that's true though. That is also a big part of it. You realize how quick life can happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that's actually absolutely a good part of it. That's a great point, because you realize that you're here today, you could be gone tomorrow, and what kind of life do you want to live, right? What kind of person you want to be. So that I can't deny that part of it also.
Yeah, for sure. One of the questions that my wife was asking, do people leave babies outside the station? Does this really happen, or is that just in movies?
Well, here recently there hasn't been any that I can recall, but yes, absolutely. We have all the time. We have babies that are being dropped off, that are newborns that are being dropped off at fire stations, because they know that we're going to take care of the babies. So absolutely, but for us though, I'd rather them drop them off at the station than drop them off in the trash can, right? Because a lot of time they dump them in the dumpsters, right? We've made babies in the toilet, right? We've gone on location and babies are in the actual toilet, right?
No.
And are in the dumpsters, and so that's why they instituted. I forget what they call it. I forget what they call it. I forget now. Moses, or I forget what they call it. But there's you can drop off a baby at any fire station, no questions asked. We're not going to call the cops. We're not going to do anything. We're going to just take care of the baby and let whatever happens after that happens.
See, I didn't even know that. That's cool information. I mean, I'm not saying I would ever drop off a baby, but I mean that no, but that's, I mean, for those people, I mean, who probably are wondering like, oh, you know, I'm not in the type of position to have a baby or whatever like that. I don't ever know what to do with it. Instead of doing the cruel thing, which is putting them in the dumpster or something like that, you can kind of just take it to an actual fire station, go to somebody and be like, here you go. I'm sorry, I can't take care of it, or whatever the case may be. But as soon as you find a baby, what do you like? What's the whole process in, you know, handling a situation like that?
Yeah, first thing we do is we assess the baby to make sure they're not having any difficulty breathing. They don't have any type of trauma. We get the paramedics involved, and we do all that good stuff, and we take them to the hospital to go get checked to make sure they're good and they're breathing properly. So that's what we do. We assess them, we hold them, we call all the people that we're supposed to call, and we take the baby to the hospital, and then we pass them over to Child Protective Services.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I figured that's what happens afterwards. You just take them to Child Protective Services, and they'll handle it from there.
Yeah,
but that's pretty. I see. I really didn't think that was a real thing.
Right? Honestly, yeah. You know what? Yeah.
I figured people were more a little bit more decent. I don't know. I expect too much.
Yeah, for sure. You think that no one would do that, but I think it's also not a crime if you do that, and you leave the baby with a fireman. That it's not abandoning your baby. That they won't charge you, and they won't charge you with abandoning the baby, which is a good thing, right? Because otherwise, if we charge them, they're gonna be like, well, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna dump the baby in the dumpster, right? I'm gonna do whatever. So yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, that would be more cruel. This is a good one. How do you stay physically and mentally prepared for the demands of the job?
Good question. So it's mentally and so physically, you definitely have to have some type of physical. You got to be in some kind of physical shape, right? I always tell people, hey, this is a young man's job, right? You can only do so much if you're out of shape. I mean, let's be honest. When you get tired and you have no strength or no endurance, you start cutting corners, right? And what happens is you get so freaking tired that now it becomes about your own survival, right? I mean, your heart's pumping, you're tired, you're gonna get injuries, and it becomes no longer about their survival. Now it becomes about yours. And you cannot be a good fireman. I mean, I'm just being completely honest. You cannot be a good fireman and not have some type of physical shape, right? And people will say, well, hold on, round is a shape. Yes, I get that. Being round is a shape. What I mean is you can't throw a ladder up and climb the ladder, cut a hole for ventilation, go down, initiate primary search with all this heavy equipment and not be in some type of physical shape. So it's important that the guys work out. We at the station, we try to work out as a crew. We play pickleball, and so although it's not much of a workout, but you realize you get a lot of cardio because we get all competitive. So we try to do something to stay physically in shape, but mentally is the thing. Is the biggest thing is because I would always put mentally and bravery together because mentally you got to be prepared that you may be asked today to risk your life to save a complete stranger. Mentally, you have to prepare yourself for that. Mentally, you have to prepare yourself that when you come into work, you're gonna make the absolute difficult and worst fire job that you're gonna ever have. Meaning, you're gonna have a 2-story with multiple burglar bars, with multiple victims trapped, and heavy fire coming. And you have to mentally prepare yourself to make that interior push to be able to ventilate, open up the windows, find the babies. You're gonna go low on air, and you're gonna have to be able to push through that to make the save. And so mentally, you have to come to work prepared to
take on the heaviest.
Right, to risk a lot to save a lot for sure.
Gotcha.
And part of it is bravery, right? Cowardice is probably the biggest no-no in the fire service. Cowardice is something that you can lose your job for. If you
absolutely.
Absolutely, you got to be mentally prepared for that. And if you're not, what happens is we've had people to do that, and they've been asked to resign because one thing we can the citizens that we serve cannot accept cowardice, because if we're not coming for them, who's coming for them?
Exactly.
You know? Just yeah.
And
So,
how do you evaluate these gentlemen, like,
well,
on their performance?
yes, absolutely. So during the probationary period and after that, throughout the year, we do evaluate. That's a great question. We absolutely do evaluate them on a yearly basis.
Okay.
Performance, their employee performance evaluations. Employee performance evaluation is what we do, and part of it has to do with all of that, right? How you treat how you treat patients, how do you interact with each other, how do you your bravery and all that good stuff is all part of your yearly evaluations. Yeah.
Okay. Jesus. And how do you tell somebody that they have to resign? You just tell them like, hey, you're not cut out for this. Like, we wish you well.
That's right. You do that early on during their probationary period. It's pretty much what happens most of the time. Most of the time is you say, hey, look, I don't want to. I remember using this term. I said, look, I don't want to crush anyone's dreams. I'm not here to crush your dream. I know your dream is to become a fireman, and you still can, but you just can't be a Houston fireman. I said, you just can't be a Houston fireman. Find somewhere else to be a fireman at, but you just can't be one here. I'm not here to crush your dreams. I'm just being real. And so when they're young, some of them understand it and they leave, and some of them use it as motivation. And truly, what I'm trying to do is motivate them, really.
And that was going to be my other question. Has there ever been I don't need you to say names because we don't want to put anybody on the spot, but has there ever been somebody that you knew personally that you thought for a fact wasn't going to make it, wasn't going to cut it, but eventually they started catching on and actually doing the work?
Absolutely. Hey, let me tell you something. I've been called a lot of things, right? I've been called a lot of things, and I always say, I've been called worse by better. And so, but what I've done is I've seen a lot of young men and women that have used the words that I've used, that I've the wisdom, the constructive criticism to better themselves, right? They've actually used it as motivation and become great firemen. Absolutely. I think that you can to be a great leader, you have to be able to lead your men to want to be better. And I think that it takes tough love. It takes
absolutely
honesty, and it takes not holding yourself and them to a higher standard. And if they can't meet this standard, you tell them you just can't work here. And they get so upset or they get so motivated that they succeed. And
that's awesome. And you absolutely want those people to be on your side too, because it's an awakening for them, I guess. And that's what pushes them, and that's what eventually makes them great.
We have it's a funny story. We had about 2 weeks ago, I had a young captain who just got promoted to captain, and he's assigned to our station on a different shift. And after he was there for about maybe a week, and he came up to me when he was going home for the day, and I was coming in for the day, and he goes, "Hey," he said, "Captain Fonseca, do you remember me?" I said, "No." He goes, "Yeah, you were at the academy whenever I was there." I said, "Man, I'm telling you, I've thousands of guys. I was there."
Yeah.
He goes, "Man, I remember whenever you were teaching, and you had so many choice words for me, and you said that I was a shitbag, and that I should quit, and that how can this guy next to you know the answer and can perform, and you can't, and guys, this guy is exactly the problem with just anybody want to become a fireman and whatever." And later on during the training, he succeeded, and I said, "There you go. I can see some greatness in you. I really can." Well, fast forward 7 years later, and he comes up to me and he says, "Man, you cut me so deep, but I use it as motivation I said, wow, look at you now. You made it up the ranks. You're a good captain, and I'm glad you used what I did as motivation.
And he
Rather,
probably still hears those words till today. Everything that
yes,
you just told him, he uses it as fuel, so he hears it in the back of his head, and
he
that's
had to,
crazy.
because why would he come to me and just say,
Exactly,
hey?
he's coming to you. Yeah,
I was like, after he walked off, he's a big guy. I was like, whoo, I'm glad he wasn't still mad.
right. So we know you're mostly doing safety right now, right?
Yes.
So what type of emergencies do you commonly respond to, or are mostly, what are the emergencies that are most common as of right now?
Yeah, any and every fire in the city of Houston,
Mhm.
and calls like gas leaks or technical rescue situations like below ground, above ground. But yeah, any type of house fire, building fire, ship fire, any type of fire that you can think of. That's what I respond to. My job is to protect Houston firemen. That's my job.
Okay.
My
Yeah,
the
for sure.
firemen's job are to protect the citizens, and my job is to protect the
Just to
Houston
protect
firemen.
them.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. And hold on, I think I got a comment right now. Oh yeah, this is a good question. Do you guys respond to a lot of the kids that are left inside the car?
Yes, yeah, absolutely, we do. That is so common because people get so wrapped up in what they have to do, right?
Yeah.
They're distracted because of their phone, social media, or whatever they're doing at the time, and if something happens for 1 second that takes their mind to somewhere they weren't prepared to take, um, they forget about the baby. It happens, and you would think they're bad parents, right? In reality, they're not bad parents. They're just sometimes irresponsible, right? And like, how could you leave your baby in the car? And they're like so distraught, and they're like, yeah, we absolutely we go in there, and if we can't open the door by jiggling the handle, we break that window and we get the
Yeah.
baby. We absolutely we make them daily. In the summer months, it is brutal. Summer months is brutal. So we make them daily for sure. There's always a baby locked in the car because they've forgotten the keys, or they've just totally forgotten. And yeah, absolutely, that's a real deal.
Like I was just telling my wife that a while ago that I think it's so sad that we have a 2021 Chevy Silverado, and as soon as we turn it off, it says please check your back seats for your kids. And I was like, is it really reminding me to check for my kids? Like that's the first thing I get out.
That's
like this
crazy,
is so
right?
sad. Yeah, it's
That's
so sad that
man.
we have to have that reminder now in every vehicle.
Absolutely. We have technology is a good thing, right? But it's also, I believe, has kind of our critical thinking has been taking a hit, because yeah, you're right. You would think that nobody would need that information, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think I ever heard of it even back in the day either. Like I don't know when this started to be more common, and I don't know. It was like from one day to another, and everything. Every time after that, it just became a vicious cycle. Like everybody just started leaving their kids in the vehicle, and I'm just like, why? Why is this happening?
I think people are doing multitasking a lot more. So much multitasking, right? And there's a demand in this. I mean, we're there's a lot of pressure, for people, for adults, with families, to get things done all day long. We drive ourselves to every day we're just running to practice, to work, to groceries. It's just like a rat race, and you got your phone distraction, and all these things are distracting you, and you forget about the most important part of your whole life is that baby in the back. Yeah, but guess who comes? We come. The firemen come, and we save the day most of the time.
Especially in Houston, it gets really ridiculously hot, and that's what I was telling everybody earlier, that I felt the humidity here is so bad. It feels like you're in an oven.
And know that you walk out and you're like immediately start sweating, right? It's just,
yeah. You lose all motivation just to even be outside. Like, nah, I just want to go back in.
You're absolutely right, man. That's so funny. That's true. I feel the same way. Yeah.
Where was I at? Oh, maybe you can answer this one. What safety measures do you follow to protect yourself and your team during a fire? which I think you basically ran through this, but let me hear you.
I think that the most important thing is that when you're in a fire ground, when you're leading a group of men or women
Mhm.
to it's not a democracy, right? We're not going to vote on things, right? You have to be if you're going to be a leader, be a leader. If you're in that leadership position, then you have to take leadership and take charge. But at the same time, you have to lean on the expertise of your crew. For instance, if we're going on top of a roof to cut a hole for ventilation, right, to let the heat and smoke come out of the house.
Yeah.
If I got a guy that works for me and he's a roofer on the side, right? That's what he does as a roofing business.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I'm going to lean on him because he's going to be the expert, right? So, just lean on the expertise of your crew, but at the same time, make the hard decisions, right? And team continuity, make sure that you guys are all on the same page, that you guys are trained up. Because here's what happens. Seldom, very, very seldom, do people rise to the occasion. Normally what happens is you fall to the level of your training, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not trained up as a crew, you're not going to just rise up and say, get it all done. It doesn't happen. If you're a crew that doesn't train together, if you're a crew that doesn't know your job, you're going to be, if you are successful, it's because you're accidentally successful. And
Right.
Man, oh yeah, we did a great job. But in the back of your mind, you're like, I don't even know.
You're like, I didn't even put my whole effort in.
I have no idea how that happened, because
right. That's pretty scary.
Yeah. And that's the reality, right? In every profession, you have your overachievers and you have some that lack motivation. And so as leaders, our job is to motivate them.
That's awesome. And I'm pretty sure you pretty much teach outside of your job as well. But how do you educate the public about fire preventing and safety?
So in our city, we have a department that does all fire prevention. We have a set of firemen that go out there and they do fire prevention. That's all they do. But when we make location on certain situations, we talk to the community. We talk, hey, look, guys, this is what you got going on. You can't have these many plugs together, guys. You need to change your smoke detector. But as far as the public in general, we have an assigned department that's all they do is go out and teach people about fire safety.
Safety.
Yeah, during the winter time, they'll talk about Christmas trees, turkey, frying turkeys and smoke. What do you call them? Heaters and things like that. During the summertime, we talk to them about staying hydrated and preventing heat strokes and things like that. So we have a department that does that for us.
So basically, like, there's different safety tips or safety tips for every season or holiday, basically.
That's right.
I got you. Let me see. What kind of advice would you give your younger self? This isn't a question that I wrote down, but I'm kind of curious.
Well, I guess I would say to always have, continue with having a serving heart, but understand that being a fireman comes with a sacrifice. I would say, hey, look, you want to be a fireman, but in a way, for me, here's how I would tell myself is that, being a Houston fireman, you have to be a little selfish in a way. And what I mean by that is that being a Houston fireman, you're not going to make a lot of money. I mean, let's just be honest. You're just not going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So what's going to have to happen is you have to work multiple jobs, which means that you're going to be away from the family a lot. So understand that there's a sacrifice to serving, and that the sacrifice is not only yours, it's going to be your wife and your kids. And understand that, hey, that there's going to be a cost of doing this profession, not only in that realm, but physically. When you start off this profession, understand that when you leave the profession, you're not going to be the same person. Not mentally, not physically, and definitely not spiritually. And the scars and the triumphs and the tragedies and the scars will follow you to the end of your career. But if you're okay with that because you want to serve, then this is a job that you want to do. So understand it comes with a cost, because nobody leaves this profession if you did it correctly. If you did it the right way, no one leaves the same person. It doesn't happen. Now, if you're a person that came in and you skated and you're a non-hard charger, you you just made it through you just slipped through the cracks. Okay, maybe, but the majority of the guys leave this apartment different than when they came in.
Absolutely.
So be prepared for that.
Absolutely. And like I was mentioning earlier, I think the job that you're in, you basically have to put your job first before anybody else. Like, your family, eventually, they come first too, but your job is so demanding. You basically have to put that first because you're putting everybody, like, you're saving lives. And unfortunately, there come a lot of negative things along with that. You make a lot of sacrifices with your families and stuff like that. What I'm trying to ask is, they basically do that with police officers, the military, but how bad is the divorce rate within you guys?
Wow, that's a great question, man. I don't know the exact number, but I can tell you that it's higher than any other profession, and it's way higher than the average American in society.
As a whole.
And part of it's because one part of it is that we're never home, right? We work 48 hours, right? 24 hours on, 24 hours off, 24 hours on. So we're gone for 2 days straight. And then you work a side job because you don't make enough on this job. So you work a side job and you're gone for another 2 days. So out of 7 days, you're gone for 4 straight days, right? The majority of them. And so it's hard to build a relationship with your wife. Is that if you don't nourish your relationship with anybody, then of course it falls, right? It's not successful. You have to have something that holds that family together, a foundation. And for us, for me personally, not everyone else, was my faith, right? Our religion, right? That's what kept us, because that's one part of it. The other part is the things that you see at home, at work. It's sometimes hard to separate that when you get home, right? You kind of act the same way you were acting at the fire station. The aggressiveness that you have to have, just being around guys all day and just having to have that mentality that, hey, we're going to get there and get the job done. Sometimes you forget to turn that off when you get home.
Yeah.
And so, the divorce rate is very, very high for firemen because you're just never home.
That's unfortunate.
And when you're home, you're so tired, you just want to sleep. And they're like, all you do is, work and go to sleep, And so, it's tough.
I don't mean to get too personal, but how long have you and your wife been married?
So we've been married now for 27 years.
Oh, wow. And she's the only one, you've only been married once, right? Like, that's the only one.
Okay.
I didn't know how to ask that.
No, that's a good question. So I've only been married one time. We have 4 kids. My wife's a stay-at-home mom. And so if it wasn't for our faith in God, there's been so much distance because of a type of line of work that we do. And because I want her to stay home and rear the kids. So it can't be a sacrifice, right? Everything's a sacrifice, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody priority things differently. For us, priority was for her to stay home. And unfortunately, you just didn't have enough of a livable wage off of one job, so you have to work multiple jobs. But that's where I said you have to be a little selfish, because I knew this, but I wanted to serve, and who suffered is the family. But now that I've gotten older, I'm starting to wind down now, and I know it's a different season now. My kids are grown now, but you know what? People have to make sacrifice for things they believe in.
Well, yeah, and I'm glad you were able to make it work. Congratulations, by the way. You've been married for 20, I think you said 25 years.
27 years, yeah.
27 years. So that's definitely hard to find. So I mean, especially in your line of profession, of course. But I'm glad you're able to make it work. I'm glad there's still a happy story right there.
Thank you.
Let me see. Ooh, can you talk about a time when you had to make a quick decision under pressure?
Oh, yeah, it's almost every day, but yeah, for sure. I have to make this. We have to make decisions where we're inside a structure, and do I push forward with the
Mhm.
guys, or do we back out because an impending collapse, right? And so
Yeah.
remember as an officer and as a leader, when you take these men and women into these burning structures, you're taking their life in your hands, right? But it's not just their life; it's their family's life, right? Because
Yeah.
you're responsible for those people that you lead into these structures, right? And because if someone doesn't make it out, the people who carry the bag, that what's left, the pieces that are left, is a family member. Everybody forgets and everybody moves on with their life, but the family member carries the scars forever. And so
Yeah.
for me, that's I've made decisions where I'm like, hey, we need to back out now, and by the grace of God, we got out and it's collapsed. I've also made the decision when we're interior and we missed the signs of a collapse, or we've been part of a collapse. And by
Yeah.
the grace of God, we've all come out alive. But in the Houston fire department, we've lost 14 members, 14 men and women in the line of duty death inside burning structures. We've lost over 24 since 2000, but 14 of them have been in burning structures, right? 14.
Wow.
The other seven, 6 or 7 have been murdered. An arsonist murdered, a fireman, or COVID, or things of that nature. So we've
Yeah.
lost about 22 since 2000, and 14 of them have been in these burning structures. And so those decisions, the pressure decisions that you have to make them in a split second, right? You have to process everything that you're seeing in a matter of seconds, and make the right decision. And that's where experience comes into play, because you cannot put a price on experience. It doesn't matter if it's successful experiences or not successful. They're all experiences that you can. This is what I feel. This is what I feel is that in your brain you have in your mind you have a Rolodex. You know what a Rolodex is? It's
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't.
Okay, we used to have what they call a Rolodex, that you'd put a card and you'd put phone numbers and names on it, and then it would be by alphabetical order, right? By the last name or first name, and you would roll through it to find a plumber or somebody who does electricity.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You roll it at the Rolodex.
Yeah, Rolodex. Yeah.
So I believe you have that in your brain, right? And that when you're in a bad situation, that your brain goes to that Rolodex and they try to find.
Yeah, you're trying to find the best.
Oh, I remember this either because I heard a story, talking to other members, other experiences, your own experiences, or through training or through schooling, and I remember this is what happens when you do this, and so that's when you have to make that split second decision, that pressure decision, and it all happens in milliseconds, right? Like I got it, or I don't have my experience. We're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that's crazy. You got to have some sort of great memory to remember all that, for sure. Yeah. Especially in like a last minute emergencies.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I'm glad there's people like you that actually are able to do that, but I just know myself. I know my limit. I know I couldn't. I forget things so easily.
You surprise yourself. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I never thought I could be a father, right? I'm like, oh man, and then it happens, like, oh yeah, we got this.
Right? Yeah, I never thought I could be with my kids by myself. I was so scared of being with them by myself. I was like, what do I do? Like, how are we gonna survive this? But now that I have 3, I'm able to take care of them by themselves. I love them to death. I love spending time with them. They have their moments, but I'm able to take care of them by myself now. But if I was to see myself, 10 years ago, ain't no way.
No way.
I wouldn't. Yeah, there was no way.
That's right.
But now it's just experience, I guess.
That's right. God has made us so great that sometimes the limits that we have are the ones that we put on ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I think that we can. I think there's a lot of things that we can accomplish. Maybe not be it won't be easy, but I think we can accomplish more than we think. Yeah,
absolutely. How high is depression with you guys?
Yeah, we have a lot of suicide. A good question, a great question, man. I wish I had these numbers because I don't give. I'm not doing. I'm doing the service because when I say that they're high, I truly mean that. I know we have a lot of suicides in the city of Houston Fire Department, uh,
Yeah,
above average, and a lot of it has to do with the pressure of the job, the pressure at home, not being home, working multiple jobs, the demands, financially, demand, physically, mentally, of all the tragedy we see. So I don't
tragedy.
have the exact number, but I can assure you that here in the Houston Fire Department, we've had to hire multiple psychiatrists
Wow.
and because we had so many members that are going through so many things in their lives in the Houston Fire Department that we were there, they couldn't keep up. And I don't know the number, but I know for a fact that it is so much higher than the average fire department, and of course, way higher than the average society.
Civilian.
Yeah, it's for sure civilian. I'm sorry, yes, civilian, yeah, yeah, absolutely. It is a definitely a they called it recently in like an epidemic, and so they're putting things in place now to try to help our brothers and sisters deal with the thought of suicide, um, to get help, and so yeah, we've lost a lot of members through suicide recently,
Wow.
and young men, that it's so tragic, right? So tragic, yeah.
Do you think that those numbers have increased more throughout the years, other than decreased?
Yeah, because I don't remember this early on in my career. I don't remember
Really?
it. I don't remember us dying like this. Maybe we were, and it just, and I just didn't remember it. But I never
Yeah.
remember my career. 27 years of doing this. I don't remember it being the way it is today. It seems like um, uh, we handle things differently now. I think that there's something missing in a lot of people's lives, and that's their first go-to move now. Where that's wasn't always the case. That's what I believe, and I could be wrong. But from my experience, yes, we're way higher than we ever been. I don't remember this happening. Firemen don't do that.
Wow.
We don't do this. We don't commit suicide. We don't do that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
in reality, yeah, it's happening quite a bit.
But I'm glad that you, well, not necessarily you yourself, but like higher ups are starting to realize that there's an issue there, and they're starting to get some help outside of the fire department, and trying to see ways they could help the crew members,
Right.
with whatever it is they got going on. But what is you mentioned that they have more psychiatrists than therapists that are currently helping them.
Right, and we have what they call a firefighter support network.
Mhm.
It's a new program. I don't remember how many years it's been in now, but this support network is absolutely phenomenal. They help you with everything. Hey guys, you're having a hard time with whatever it may be, some type of medical bill that or procedure that you can't get approved. Lean on them. You're having thoughts of depression. Lean on them. We have people that are assigned to, all they do now, their entire job, they're firefighters, and their entire job is to take care of firefighters, their needs, small and big, and get you the help, put you in the direction that you need to go to, find the people, give you contact, make it as convenient as possible and as discreet as possible, because
Gotcha.
no one wants to be embarrassed, right? Nobody wants
Mhm.
you to know your weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a great program, and I know that it's saving lives, because they're getting people the help that they need, because we're human, although that we may do extraordinary things, right? We're just ordinary people that just happen to do extraordinary things when the call, when the situation happens. But in situation, we have the same problems, the same fears. We bleed the same way that everyone else does, and so um, I'm glad that we have that program in place.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like everybody needs help like that too.
Absolutely, we're all the same.
Mhm.
I truly believe that we're more the same than we are different. As far
No,
as
for sure.
human beings, right?
Mm.
And so we all have the same fears, the same anxieties, and the same happiness that everyone else has. And so some of us just deal with things differently, right? We're built.
Yeah.
we're built differently, right?
Yeah, for sure. Now compare your life from back then to now. Is there how has firefighting changed since you first started?
Oh wow. Well, you know, I will say this: our I think we've become we're still highly aggressive, right? That part of
Mhm.
our department has not changed. That part of our culture has not changed. We are as an aggressive as we were when I first came in as we are today. But what we are now, I believe, is that we're a smarter fire department.
Yeah.
We're more intellectually aggressive, right? Before we were arbitrarily aggressive, right? We did everything the same way and we just went at it, right? We overwhelmed the situation by throwing a lot of manpower, a lot of water, and we overwhelmed them. So we're arbitrarily aggressive. But now I think we're turning the tide where we're more intellectually intelligent, right? We do like a lot of situational awareness, right? Like what's
Yeah.
going on here, fire science, right? And understanding building construction and understanding, your situation. And I think we have a lot smarter firefighters now. We have a
Yeah.
lot more educated firemen that are coming in. When I came in, very seldom that people have college degrees.
Yeah.
You had to have college to get in there, but you didn't have to have a college degree. But now you got, and most of us were just like blue collar workers, right? We all
Yeah.
knew how to work with our hands, and we were just that type of people. But now we have people coming in, young people coming in with degrees, right? They have degrees in other things, right? And like they come in and like there's a culture shock. Oh my God, I have no idea how to turn on a lawnmower. I've never used a weed eater, right? A shovel.
Yeah.
What's a shovel? So that's the difference, is that we have young people that have no life skills, man. They can play the heck out of a game, and
Yeah.
they can do all kinds of things with their computers and all these different things, but they can't start a lawnmower. They don't know how to use a grinder. They don't know how to use, and so we're teaching a lot of young men and young women a lot of life skills and making them better fathers and better wives. In my opinion, I think that's exactly what the difference is that we have a different type of people coming in the fire service, but it's a good thing. They're a lot educated. The biggest problem is that they want to know why. When I came in, you didn't ask why. You did not ask why. You don't ask questions. Yes, sir, absolutely. I don't have any idea why we're doing this, but I'm going to do it because you told me to. Now it's like, why? Why? I don't understand. Why? Because I told you so. Okay, but why?
Right.
Yeah, and so you're like, okay, let me explain to you.
Right.
Right. It's not always the case, right? Because some officers say, well, you don't get to ask why. But that's the biggest thing, is that it's a why society.
You keep mentioning men and women at the station,
Mhm.
which to me it sounds a little weird, because I always thought to myself, like, firefighters are just a bunch of men. But I have to face the reality that there are some women out there who want to who also took the oath to
That's right.
serve and protect as well. So I mean, is there a lot of women that are doing firefighting?
I would
I'm
say
pretty
no.
sure there's.
No, I would say in general, by percentages is a very low percentage. I wouldn't even think it would be. I don't even think it's 5%. It's a low percentage, but we do have men. We do have women who are firemen in the city of Houston, and so does every department, right? But the majority is
Yeah,
still a male profession. It's still a male
absolutely.
profession for sure, and it,
And
it always will be. It'll always be a male profession. But yes, we do have women in the fire service, and they're either firefighters or they're paramedics, right? They do everything that we do, right? They do the same job that we do.
And when it comes to fires, I truly believe that they have to get the exact same training that you give the other gentlemen as well, because, like you mentioned before, it's not like you can give them like the least amount of training, because in reality, every emergency is going to be tough.
That's
So
right.
you gotta prepare them for the worst as
Absolutely.
well. So I mean, they pretty much can't get the easiest training either. Pretty
No,
sure
they
they
got
got to get the same training as everybody else.
absolutely. If you got to push them as hard as you pushed the the male. Yeah,
Mhm.
they have, and this is my opinion. You hold them to the same standard. It has nothing to
Exactly.
do with anything else but a standard. That's the biggest thing, is that if you lower the standard, then why did you lower it? But if you have a high standard because that's what the citizens deserve, right? Then there's no issues. It doesn't have nothing to do with anything but standard. It has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with gender. It has to do with what do the citizens deserve. And
Exactly.
it's always been about them, the citizens, and it always will be about them. Everything we do, it always goes back to them. They are always first, always, and they will always be first, right? And so as long as we remember that and we hold those standards with that in mind, everyone is welcome. All is welcome if you hold on to the standard. If you can't own up to the standard, then we don't need you.
Absolutely.
But I don't trust your dreams. You can work somewhere else.
Exactly. And probably, how has technology changed since your day?
So we've had so much technology. I mean, from our thermal imaging cameras, right? Now we can use that camera to see in a smoky environment, right? To find victims, to find fire, to find our way out of a building that we're lost in, right? Our accountability system, right? We have an accountability system now that can tell us how much air you have in your bottle. Can tell the incident commander if you're no longer moving, right? Like if you're collapsed and you had a heart attack or you're under collapse, we know that you're not moving because technology is there. We can send you messages on the radio. We know that if you're supposed to be on a tactical channel 4 and you're on 3, we know that, and then we can change you to the right tac channel. When you're in Mayday, you press a button and we can hear you and see that you're in Mayday. There's been so many advancements in technology, our air packs, our face piece, our gear. I mean, it's advanced so much since I started in the Houston Fire Department, and it's just getting better. I believe in technology. I believe that technology has a role in the fire service. Ultimately, the main thing is a fireman and his crew with a set of tools. That's always going to be the bread and butter. But I believe that technology has a role.
Has improved for the better. It sounds like that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So-
those that don't believe that is just because they hate technology and they don't want it. They're stuck in their ways. But in reality, even our fire trucks, right? We didn't used to have air conditioning in our fire trucks, right? We used to have open cabs, right? We didn't have closed cabs, right? And so just air conditioning alone is a great technology.
Fire it's trucks, a huge upgrade.
Heck yeah, man! Especially in Houston, we used to get wet. When I came in, we had in the back where the fireman sat. We had an open concept, right? So we only had a head covering, but there was there was nothing to cover your feet or your wind. You weren't totally. You're in the outside with just a roof over you. And I remember getting wet. I remember being hot, and then shortly after that, we got an air-conditioned, fully enclosed cab. We're a little safer. So yeah, technology is great. It's a great thing.
That's very impressive. I'm glad that it's worked out for you guys, especially.
For sure.
Hold on, I have a Uncle Fester. Not necessarily. I don't really know who an Uncle Fester is, but hey, welcome to Major Listen. And he said, "Respect to the firemen."
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. I do have one last question for you. Where is it at? Yes, this is my last question. What advice would you give someone considering a career in firefighting?
Oh, good. Hey, would you mind if I wrote something up? Would you mind if I read it?
No. Go ahead, please.
Okay. All right, let me find it. I took the time to write it. Okay, you ready for it?
Go ahead.
So here's what I did. I wrote this for you because I thought that it'd be something that's important for motivation for young firefighters. So
absolutely.
So being a firefighter is not just a job; it's a calling. It's a calling that requires a level of physical, mental strength, and bravery that few other professions demand. We are called to serve and protect our community, often putting our own lives at risk to save others. It is sometimes difficult for our families and civilians to understand why we choose this profession. It's hard for them to understand why when everyone is running away from danger and every fiber in your body is telling you to get away, we choose to stay and serve. How can someone risk their lives for a complete stranger? The Bible states that there is no greater love than to lay down your life for a friend. So when that alarm goes off and you're given an assignment, that complete stranger becomes a family member. And we would run through fire to bring our family members out alive. So I believe that we don't choose this profession, but rather it was chosen for us by our Creator. And it goes on and on. But what I try to say is this: is that this profession is if you choose this profession, it is a worthy profession. It's a profession that is needed. It's a profession that without it, we would have a lot of chaos in society. So
Absolutely.
if you choose a profession, understand that it comes with a price. That when you're done, you won't be the same person. But it's so absolutely fulfillment, and that when you stand before your Creator, you're gonna know that your life meant something. That you gave to your fellow man, and that you left this world a better place. That you weren't just a taker, but you were a giver. And how many professions gives you that opportunity? Not many.
Not many.
It gives you the opportunity to serve your fellow man. And what a great reunion when you stand before your Creator and you can say, my life mattered, Lord. Send me, Lord. I'll serve. So absolutely, that's what I would say. Have a serving heart.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Once again, Mr. Fonseca, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for accepting my invitation. I greatly appreciate you having the time to actually speak to me and about your profession. I know that Joshua Nolasco didn't exactly want to be on here because he's camera shy, but I'm glad he was able to find somebody who was able to, be as open as you were. I greatly appreciate everything that you do, and as well as other people who are on the comments as well. All right, boys, good stuff. Keep up the good work and keep hosing it down. People really respect and admire everything that you guys do. I greatly appreciate it. I can't stress that enough, because I know my wife actually made food for the firefighters about a year and a half ago for Christmas.
All right.
That was special for us, because we want to show them that they're people, that they're appreciated.
Thank you.
Because they really are. You guys put yourselves on the line for complete strangers, like you mentioned, and we want to go ahead and show our gratitude in some little way, some little way.
Well, I want to tell you thank you for having me. It's definitely our privilege and our honor to serve you and our citizens, and I thank you for the opportunity. I hope that I accomplished what you were hoping to accomplish. I hope I gave you what you wanted, as far as the interview. And
Absolutely.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much. You were a great guest. You were able to answer a lot of questions, and I greatly appreciate you for that. What station are you at again?
I'm at station 24, which is in the off of 288 and 610. Sunnyside, that's that type. Right,
okay.
Right near Reliance Stadium.
I know you're.
Yeah, by Belford, MLK, in that general area.
Oh, okay. I know exactly where you're at then. You said 24. All right, I'll remember that. We may stop by one day. You may catch me and my wife. Yeah.
You're welcome, man. And we're playing pickleball. Come on, you're in.
Pickleball. For sure. No, I'll definitely let you know if I stop by.
You're welcome.
But,
okay? Come on in anytime, and we'll bring your kids, and we'll give them a good tour.
Absolutely. No, I most definitely will. My kids love the fire station visits for some reason. I don't know. I guess they like the whole touring. They like being in the truck, and I was like, okay.
Come on, do a ride out with us, and see all these fires that we make. I made 2 fires already today. Before the interview, yeah. So when I say make it, we responded to 2 fires.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we say the word making, right? I made a fire today. Well, we didn't actually make the fire. We responded to the fire.
Responded, yeah. I get what you're saying. No, but thank you so much. I'm glad you were able to make this episode happen, and Yeah, you basically ticked all the boxes that I was expecting you to, and yeah, you were great. Thank you so much. And like I said, we definitely I'll keep your number saved on my phone
Thank you, brother.
because I may stop by for sure.
Come on, brother. Anytime.
I appreciate you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. God
All
bless.
right, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna say bye to everybody. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks, sir.
What a great episode that was, guys. Seriously, I don't think we give these people in the line of duty a lot of the recognition that they deserve at times. I think we take them for granted because I don't know, it's just like we're always so busy. But I'm glad he was able to come here and talk to you guys exactly what it is that he does on a daily basis. And he's right on a lot of stuff. They put their lives on the line, and I can't I learned a lot from him today. Of course, that was my first time meeting the gentleman, and he was great. I'm definitely gonna show him love to his station one day. I know my wife would greatly host something like that as well. But yeah, I was glad that he was able to show when he did, and I hope you guys enjoyed that episode as much as I did. But my season finale episode will be next week, and I already have the special guest for that one. If you haven't heard yet from the previous episodes, it is going to be a guest that everybody knows already. But yeah, that person's going to be with me next week, and I really hope we can make something great happen. But thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. For those of you who will be watching, go ahead and share this episode as much as you can. Try to show your boy some love. And I'm gonna go ahead and go downstairs, and I'm thirsty. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I gained a little viewer from Uncle Fester. Uncle Fester, I don't know who you are, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that episode as much as I did. And for everybody who will be watching, thank you so much for supporting. Keep sharing. You already know the vibes. And I will see you guys on the next one. I'm going to close it out. I'm trying to look for all right. I'll see you guys on the next one. The season finale next Tuesday. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a doozy. All right, guys. Pulling the trigger. Wrong video. Forgot I labeled it wrong.